Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. I see that that Nicholas has joined, so I was about to jump into an introduction, but I will wait. And Nicholas, the floor is all yours.
Oh, please don't let me. I apologize for this. There was another meeting right before that I ran it
Hello.
along. But thank you all for being here. We will be recording, or it is being recorded. That's great. We'll post this. I'll send the link afterwards. Looking for this email workshop. Uh, we always complain, and I'm saying this in general, but every single institution that I've been to, folks are always like, well, we send emails to students, but they don't read their emails. It's like, well, let's be a little bit more strategic around that. So I think that this is why I'm very excited to hear this workshop with you guys. That's it. Let's look for another webinar coming soon, invitation coming soon. But for this, I'm happy to totally yield the floor to Dr. Edwards. And yeah, I'll stop here. All yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nicholas. I'm very excited to be here today, and I'm excited to see all of your faces, especially on a Friday. And so we are going to jump into it because this is only an hour long, or a little bit less than that now. So we're going to jump into it, and we are going to reach our goal today of making sure that all of you leave here today with at least one or two things that you can implement next week, if you wanted to, or if not, you can write it down. So this is effective student communication, how to reach today's college students through technology. And I will have to admit, this is not my typical PowerPoint. This is a workshop session. And so because of that, I'm doing this from a Word document, and you will have access to that Word document at the end of this workshop. And so we will go ahead and get started. So the first piece is, I have some questions for you. So what is effective communication, and why is effective communication important for your campus? So if you can please go to the chat, type the answer to this question. Why is effective communication important for your campus? And just tell me what campus you're from as well. Why is effective communication important for your campus, especially regarding students? And I'm looking at the chat as well. Okay. And remember, today is interactive. I know that you guys have some good information.
And make sure in the chat that you select everyone, just so that it doesn't go to read AI meeting notes that nobody can see.
Yes, yes. So while you guys are typing that, I do want to emphasize that effective communication is very important, because we want to make sure that students do, in my opinion, we want to make sure that the students carry out the behaviors or effective academic success, student success behaviors that we want them to do and demonstrate throughout their years at our institutions. And so it's very important for me, and this is just from my opinion, because I want students to graduate within the time frame. So if they're attending a two-year institution, I want them to graduate within a 2-year or roundabout time frame. And it's important because we want to make sure that we provide students with an opportunity to go into the workforce, to create their own small businesses, or whatever their career goals are. It's just important to see how we can help them in that journey, and communication is key in making that happen. So in the chat, be warring. Okay, they're pouring in. Good. You guys have to think about it. I appreciate it. So let's see. Okay, B. Warren says it's important that students know and understand expectations. Denmark Technical College. I remember you from last time. You have such good responses. And so, yes, that they understand our expectations, and our expectations are high. We are a higher education institution. So we want to make sure that they know what our expectations are, and also what the workforce expectations are as well, so they get into that mindset. Okay, Latanya Orange, hello. One of our institutions with the Metropolitan Cohort, Olive Harvey, fosters a cohesive, productive, and supportive environment. Yes, definitely so. That we support them in their pursuit of their academic goals, and then ultimately their workforce goals as well. Also, Sean Locke from Delgado Community College in Louisiana. It says, let's see, the response says, effective communication is important because we only have so many opportunities to get it right. Yes, yes. And students can get overburdened by too much information or unclear information. Yes. And even outside of the higher education environment, if you get overburdened by too much information, sometimes you just tune it out. And I hate to bring this up, but something is happening in our nation right now. And if you turn on the news, you're getting a lot of information at one time. And sometimes you're like my husband and you're like, I'm just going to tune it out. I'm turning it off. I know what I need to know at this point. I'm just tuning it out. And me, I'm like, okay, the more the better. I'm glued to the TV or the radio for X amount of hours a day. But it's important to know what that threshold is for your target audience or for your students. Okay, Tamika. Okay, Delgado's representing today. Good job. Effective communication is important as it ensures that information is both sent and received by the recipient as it is intended. Tamika, I'm a communicator, and basically for me, I always like to make sure that that the information is received, and I teach communication as well, and I have for years. And I'm like, you get an A+ for that one because you actually referred to the communication model. So great job for that. Ms. Wise Nash says effective communication fosters collaboration among students, faculty, and staff. Chattahoochee Valley Community College. Excellent. Ms. Hampton says, let's see, effective communication is important for students on campus to help them successfully navigate their college and academic experience. You guys really thought about your answers. Regina, Trenholm State, effective communication is important so everyone can be on the same page. Yes. And Ms. Boone says, from Trenholm State Community College, effective communication can create a sense of community, which is very important with our two-year institutions, and belonging, encouraging student involvement in campus activities and organizations. Yes, definitely so. So we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, and it seems like all of us are, that effective communication is very important for your campus. But today, we have a different set of students at our institutions. These students probably entered our institutions after COVID. The communication game has changed tremendously. If you look at how advertisers, even if we're looking at fast food advertisements, is very different than it was before COVID. And so I want you all to think about out of the box ways to reach and make sure your students are on the same page when it's regarding their academic success at your institution. So we are not going to go through all of these, but these are also some things that you can talk about for the individuals on your campus to make sure all of you are on the same page regarding effective communication with your students. But I did want, as I'm transitioning to the next part, I did want everyone to go to the chat to answer the fourth question. What are some goals that you would like to reach through effective student communication? Is it retention? Is it increased graduation rates? Is it term-to-term retention? What is it for your institution? And while you are doing that, I am going to scroll down. And all of these are from, and you guys get some freebies today, lots of freebies today, but all of these are actually from a book that I wrote a while ago, but it's basically about effective student communication. So it's retaining college students through technology, a guidebook for student affairs and academic affairs professionals. But I've borrowed a lot of elements from that book to make sure that we are able to reach our goals today. So today's agenda is, we have 7 things that we are going to focus on. I will give you a sample calendar. And so ideally in a larger format session, we would go over what your institution should do or should think about doing per month. So you can have a recurring calendar. I like lockstep steps in order to make sure that we are reaching and effectively communicating with students on an annual basis so we don't have to think about it. So we'll go over that. We'll also go over some key student demographics at your institution. So you will all help each other create this list of student demographics. And those are specific groups that we need to focus on regarding our messages. Then also you guys are going to get a prep sheet. And so that prep sheet is basically looking at the elements of a key student success communication campaign. We are going to look at a student success communication campaign. And also, yes, I wouldn't be myself if I were not infusing a little bit of AI into it, because we only have so many hours in the day. And so it's important to make sure that we are utilizing our resources in order to effectively communicate with students, but also to do the rest of the things that we have to do throughout the day. And so I created a recipe book for you all in order to come up with those messages. And then also we will look into a few elements regarding a key AI technology that I'm using right now, which is Google Gemini, for crafting messages with students. And let's jump into it. So just about me, I have over 22 years of higher education leadership experience in academic affairs and student affairs. And I also oversee 3 institutes at my institution, which is focused on artificial intelligence, social media, and rural communication. So whether you're a rural institution, whether you are focused on any of these elements, I'm really focused on all of those comprehensively. So that is me in a nutshell. Okay, so let's jump into the calendar. But before we do that, let me go to the chat because I see some goals emerging. So let's see. Oh, Tamika, you're our only person who responded, but thank you. And it is to increase student engagement, retention, and success. Yes, the trifecta. So thank you. Thank you so much. And so if we think about the goal, you want to make sure that each of your campaigns throughout the scope of an academic year focus on the goals that you have in your division or in your department. So if we're looking at the month of October, for instance, we have such campaigns as motivation campaigns. We want students to keep going. They just finished their midterms and we want them to keep going. Or if they just finished their first 8-week classes, we want them to persist because they're starting over again in their second 8-week classes. Also advising campaigns, reminding students to check their midterm grades. If your institution does not have a mechanism in place to automatically send midterm grades to them, or to remind their professors to send them messages, and you can have copy and paste messages that you send to the professors so they can just copy and paste, put that in their Canvas or Blackboard or whatever learning management system they have, to make sure that they remind students how to check their grades. Also, we have some more goals rolling in. Thank you so much, LaTanya. We have retention, progression, persistence, and completion. Thank you so much. So a quad goal, but making sure that we are looking at students' progression holistically from 4 different data points. So let's also look into some data that we can run at specific time points. So we're looking at the month of October, motivation campaigns, advising campaigns, reminding students to register for the subsequent semester, checking their midterm grades, but also some data that we want to run include early alert reports. And so that's important to make sure that we are running those early alert reports so that faculty can report or raise a flag for any students who might be experiencing any form of academic difficulty within their classrooms. But if we are on the cusp of November, honestly, it's happening. And with November, I would definitely recommend advising campaigns, motivation campaigns for the second 8-week courses, or starting over again. Starting over is hard. Also, Thanksgiving week is coming up, and that's a good re-recruitment week because these students go home potentially to their families, and their families are going to offer them messages of motivation or messages of demotivation. And so it's important to make sure that we potentially help or counteract those messages that they are receiving from family, and sending the messages saying that you can do it, motivational messages. And also we're looking at data points, double checking students who are not yet advised, early alert reports, and also running a report for any students who within the midterm have a D or an F for advising, extra advising, and also for enrollment purposes. I'm going to stop for a second. You see November, December, and January. Could you please head to the chat for anything that you see on the screen that you're like, oh, wow, we didn't think about doing that, or yeah, we do that. I'm interested to see where our institutions are regarding these campaigns and also regarding these data points. And also, if you have any questions about any of these, please let me know in the chat as well, and we'll address those as we go. And I will leave this up for a second. But these are just suggestions at this point, because all of our institutions are different, and we want to make sure that we are reaching students where they are. Okay, and I am checking the chat. Ooh, yes. So we have check your grades campaigns. Yes, because sometimes we do not do it unless we get a prompt to do so. So even with our banks, sometimes they'll send a little thing to say your statement is ready, and then that prompts you to focus um, on the statement that you need to look at for your bank. Same thing for students. If they receive something to say like your midterm grades are posted, they can look at their midterm grades. We need prompting. Okay, so as you are entering those, let's continue to go on. But this carries over to March, April, May, July, etc., especially for the summer months. But also I want to focus on potential student demographics. So within your institutions, and you all, I'm using a language that I wanted everyone to be on the same page for, but I use post-traditional students and traditionally aged students, but however you refer to the students at your institution, traditionally aged, we'll just say between the 18 and 29 time frame, and then like 30 plus would potentially be like post-traditional or non-traditional students, but also students who are Pell eligible, transfer students, continuing students, degree-seeking students, certificate-seeking students. What are some more data points that you pull or that you look at regarding student demographics at your institutions? Maybe ethnicity. Maybe race. Can you think of anything else? I know this list is not comprehensive. Gender, yes, gender, excellent. And socioeconomic backgrounds, yes. Okay, first shit, yes. Oh my goodness, that's such an obvious one. I should have put it down. Awesome, yes. Thank you. Can you think of any more data points, especially if you have a state or federal program that you have to give data points for? I was very fortunate to write and receive Title III funding, so we have plenty of data points on that one. Enrollment specific, yes. Ooh, single parent status, yes. Okay, let me see if I missed anything in the chat. So enrollment specific, single parent status, Pell eligible, yes, perfect. Veteran, Nicholas, how can I forget about that one? I'm a proud member of the U.S. Navy, and I just kind of forgot about the veteran status. So sorry, y'all. Veteran status, anything, residency, yes. Okay, so I think the list is good unless you guys have anything that you can think of that is not on the list. I know there's something, but as you think about it, just put it in the chat, because I want you to know that all of these are potential sub-campaigns for your campaigns. So say if you have a re-enrollment campaign, I would highly encourage you to not send the same re-enrollment message to all of the students at your institution. So if you're doing a re-enrollment message and we are focused on, let's just say, veteran, first gen, and potentially gender, you have your overall campaign, your re-enrollment campaign, but the message that you send individuals who represent different genders would be different from the message that you would send veterans, would be different from the message that you would send first gen students. Because with first gen students, perhaps when they're showing the message to their family members who perhaps did not attend college or didn't complete their degree, you want everyone to be on the same playing field when it comes to the words that are in that message. So we want to make sure that we break down that message. And I say that because you all do a lot of community outreach, and I do a lot of community outreach with parents of high school students. I live in a community that wins several state championships every single, like 10 years in a row. However, these students get to college and these students flunk out because their high school teachers have just been passing them this whole time. And so my message is to the parents is to, have, this is your checklist for the year. These are the things that you need to keep in mind. But I ask AI to break down my higher education messages to a 6th grade level. And it's important because I want my 12-year-old to understand what that message means. So AI can break down those wonderful complicated messages that we send our students. They can break it down to a 6th grade, 7th grade level, so all members of the family can understand. And that's very important. So let's think about this. So if you have your overall campaign of re-enrollment and you break it down into subcategory 1 or sub target audience 1, which would be gender, then category 2 would be first gen, category 3 would be veteran. You are designing different messages for each portion of your student population that you included in that campaign. And if you have any questions about that, just let me know, because I love talking about this stuff. This is one thing that I also want us to keep in mind. So as we are crafting that message, the focus of the message of the campaign, and we are going to do this together, but the focus of the message of the campaign would be re-recruitment. And this, I'm not going to type everything that I usually do, but we'll just say re-recruitment. Then the expected result or action. And you guys feel free to unmute your mic. What do you want them to do? If we're running a re-recruitment campaign, what do you want them to do? And you need to be specific. Enroll in X amount of classes, X amount of hours, by what date? And you can put it in the chat too. Because with every campaign, you have to have a call to action that you want our students to do. Our students need to know our expectations and to know how to meet them. And so what are some specific things that you want your students to do regarding next semester that they can do now? Yes, thank you. Miss Hampton is coming through. Oh, they're coming in. Okay, so Miss Hampton is coming through. Schedule advising appointments before the holidays. Yes. Get them before they go on break, before Thanksgiving and before the holiday break. Also, Andrew says, get registered for classes. Yes. Let's see. Ms. Wise Nash says, meet with your advisor to discuss courses. You know what? Let's do a twofer. So let's take the schedule advising appointments before the holidays, and we're also going to do Ms. Wise Nash's as well. And let's put that here. Schedule advising appointments before the holidays. Awesome. So if we were really specific, we would say before this date, because if we say the holidays, that could be the week after graduation, if you have graduation in fall term. Okay, so when are we going to launch that campaign? Is it going to be a Monday? Is it going to be a Tuesday? What is the best day of the week for you to send that message to your students? And I'm looking in the chat. Because you guys, if you send something at 8 o'clock on a Monday, probably not. If you send something at 5 o'clock when people are in traffic, probably not. I've seen great campaigns actually, and great messages actually get a great response at 7 p.m. honestly, after people make dinner, after people, get the stuff in the oven and they're able to sit down at their kids' soccer game, basketball game. I've seen people take action at 7 p.m. at night. And you can set up your messages, especially if you use Outlook, to send at a certain time of the day. So send during a certain day of the week. But know the start date of your campaign and know the ending date of your campaign. So what time? Okay, Wednesdays at 7. Wednesdays at 12. Perfect. So we're going to say noon on Wednesday. And we'll just say XYZ date. Then the start date of our campaign would potentially be Monday. And you guys, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but we'll just say Monday. And then we'll say Friday for the ending day. Okay, who are our target groups for this campaign? For the campaign focused on scheduling advising appointments for the holidays? Is it faculty, staff, students? Okay, I know you guys are looking and thinking. Students, okay, perfect, thank you. not that one. And how are we going to reach these students? Because we have different ways of reaching them. So we could reach them via, electronic means like email, telephone, social media, campus poster. How are we going to reach these students? Okay, text message. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that off. Any text and email? Okay, email. Perfect. Awesome. Does anyone have any automated phone calls anymore? Because I know some people do. The campus posters work, Blackboard or the LMS system. Anything else that we're missing? So we have text and email. What about students who forgot to pay their bill? And they don't have access to the internet anymore. It happens. How are we going to reach them? Letter. Ooh, like it. Awesome. I encourage us to have at least 2 to 3 or more touch points per campaign, because there will be some people who do not, who are going through hard times. We're approaching the holidays, y'all. These kids are expecting the most wonderful Christmas or whatever they expect. But it's important to know that money is tight and money is going to get tighter. So bills are going to probably fall by the wayside pretty soon for some of our students. Social media, good. Thank you so much. So it's important to know the type of message we are going to send. And also, I do want to emphasize the Blackboard LMS. If they are not going to check anything else, they are actually probably going to check Blackboard, because that's where the grades reside. And so you want to, and where the assignments reside, and how their professors are going to communicate with them. So I would also consider sending something on Blackboard as well. Anytime we have a message that needs to be sent for students, I encourage people to send it to faculty, and for faculty to send it out to students, because the faculty members are a trusted voice. The students may or may not know us, but the students will know their faculty members. So the faculty member can send that message to their students and also can answer questions as well if they have the appropriate answer to it. And also, who will send that message? Like I just mentioned, they might not know us, but they'll know their faculty member. They'll know their advisor. So who will send that message? And I'm looking at the chat. Who's going to send that message? Is it going to be the faculty, the advisor, the staff, student life, other students or peers, student government, administration, advisor? Awesome. I needed to actually put mentor on here. Okay. Advisors.
Oh, okay.
I know that voice. So staff advisors, okay, perfect. So who will send the message? So know when you are crafting the message, who will send the message. And if we know basically how, and I put another one in here just in case you wanted to use this again, we need to see exactly who's going to send it and how we are going to assess that message, how that message is received. And so because of that, I want to go into an actual campaign. So contacting students currently enrolled who have not registered for the upcoming semester. The problem is many college students need several reminders to register for the next semester. Time of year is going to be that October, November timeframe, or March and April, because our semesters are revolving. We always get students, kind of like the post office. We always have students enroll, and also we have students re-enroll the next semester, hopefully. But we don't want to lose any packages along the way. So it's important to know that we have a recurring time frame every fall and spring semester. This is a 4-week time frame, and our target group are students. For this campaign, I basically sent a text message to students who are enrolled this semester, but who are not enrolled for the subsequent semester. It was a text message. And the text message was very simple. Are you planning to come back in the spring? Reply Y for yes, M for maybe, H, I have holes, or S, I need to schedule an appointment. No was not an option. So, students just stop out, they don't drop out. And so because of that, the students especially even if they're, in transition to another activity or another class, replying with a simple Y is very simple for them, very simple for us. And so because of that, we were able to populate an Excel sheet to see exactly who replied Y, who replied M, who replied H, who replied S, to make sure that we are communicating with them appropriately. During the second week of that campaign, We remove the students who have already registered, so we don't communicate with them again. We don't want to overwhelm them, because if we send them too many messages that are not relevant for them, they're going to block us. So that's important for us to keep in mind. And then also we would send another text message to the students who enrolled this semester, but who are not enrolled for the subsequent semester. So the second text message that we would send those students are, classes are filling up fast. Are you returning to name of community college for the fall? Y for yes, N for maybe, N for no, because this is the second message that they received. H, I have holes, and I would put the name of an administrator or the president that many students know, so they know this is a very important message. Then the third week of the campaign, have the faculty and advisors call the students in their department or college who have not registered. Remember, they have a relationship with them, and you might not have a relationship with them. So it's important to make sure that they see that friendly face, because they're on the second tier or the third tier for the communication with the students who have been unresponsive or who are not registered. During the fourth week of the campaign, having the faculty contact the students who are in their classes strategically who have not enrolled in these subsequent semesters. So remember, it's a 4-week campaign. They get 4 touch points within that 4-week time frame. And to assess the campaign, we basically want to examine the number of students who are not registered before the campaign, and then measure that against the students who registered each week by the 4th week. And it's important to know how effective those messages are. And if those messages work, save that to your playbook. And when I say playbook, have a Word document, have a Google Docs document. We always had a Google Docs document, so I can put all of the messages that work in that document, so we don't have to think about it when we are running that campaign for the next year. And just some additional comments. I always put additional comments on my campaigns, because I don't want to have to think about it next year. With everything that's on our list, we don't want to have to think about it next year. And so as students reply, you can begin tagging those students through your student success technology if you have access to specific systems, or you can use Microsoft Excel that's on a shared document that's that is a private and secure document on your higher education institution system. So you can make sure that you have those tags, so you can know the students who have a history of not enrolling on time. So next semester, you can know that you need to send some special messages to them to help motivate them to keep them enrolled. I'm going to stop for a second. What questions do you have about this campaign? Questions, comments, criticisms, because everything can be improved. And remember, this is something that you will get at the end of today. You don't have to take notes. I mean, you can take notes, but you don't have to write everything down. Okay. All right. So if you don't have anything to put in there, just put in an emoji to let me know that you're still here. Put an emoji in the chat to let me know you're still here, because we are going to run to our next piece. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so let's go to something that awesome. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Ms. Vaz Nash. Oh my goodness, they're coming in. Thank you. Okay, you're still here. Good. All right, so let's go into this sorry, goodness, y'all. It's early and it's a Friday. AI prompt recipe book. So the purpose of this recipe book is to provide student success leaders with an easier way to develop campaigns to reach your target student population. And remember, we have all of those target student populations on our list, that demographics list, and you will get that later on. And so because of that, you want to make sure that you are reaching the needs of your target student population. And it's so funny, I like AI, and then I realize sometimes AI can do things that I never dreamed of. And so I tried it with student success campaigns not too long ago, and I was very impressed. So let's create a recipe. Here are the ingredients. I would always put into my message the time frame, the type of campaign you want it to develop, the requested time of year you want it to launch, the population you're reaching, think about that demographic list, the action you want them to take, and then the current time of year. Because AI needs all of these ingredients in order to create the recipe or the meal that you want them to create. So if we are assembling the student success recipe, we have all of these ingredients within this trajectory or within this chain. And so we have all of those ingredients occurring one after the other. And that's important for that AI piece, because we want them to do what we want them to do. And if they don't, we can always revise it. So this is one thing that I had as a prompt: create a 5-day student success campaign for the month of December, focused on first-year student re-recruitment for the fall semester. I would always, always, always save your prompts because you don't want to have to think about those again. Save those on a Word document. Save those to your playbook, your student success playbook. And you want to make sure that you can just copy and paste that next time you want to run a prompt for the month of February or June, focus on recruitment of a different population. You can also vary the prompt a little bit. So after you develop your initial prompt and you receive a satisfactory response from your AI tool, I use Google Gemini a lot because it's free, and ChatGPT can only do so much. So I like Gemini because it's a learning-based tool based on current information. So based on the elements from your campaign, can you please take all of these messages and write a special collective message from the perspective of a college president, vice president, or dean? And so we will put, I'm just going to put person as a placeholder right now. Okay, so within that message, you can revise the message to write it from the perspective of a first year or senior year college student, first year, second year college student, or as a parent who is returning to an institution, or a parent who is a student parent, appealing to the reader, appealing or changing the writer. Can you write the message from the perspective of the students' professors? Can you update the format? Can you make it shorter? Can you make it longer? Those are all things that you can ask that AI tool. You can revise the tone of the message. So for the students who are in the first week of that campaign, they're probably getting like the less assertive message. But the students who are in that fourth week, y'all, I would definitely make it a lot more assertive because they need that prodding because they haven't paid attention to the entire, month's worth of campaign. So they need that extra assertive message. And also appealing to the needs of sub-target populations. Can you revise the message to appeal to the needs of students who are making F's and D's because they need different support than students who are making A's and B's. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm looking in the chat. And we're going to jump to the AI tool in just a second. But what questions do you have about what you've seen on this so far? Because I know some people use AI a lot. Some people do not use AI as much. But you all, I will tell you, these features change frequently. So you could be proficient this week and tomorrow or next week, you're not as proficient because they changed everything and turned it on its head. And so it's important to make sure that we are up on the newest technology, especially regarding AI. I have been challenged. I went to a community college presentation. There was a community college within my East Texas region, and they basically had this AI speaker come down, and they had all of their faculty and staff saying we're purposeful about implementing AI in everything that we do at our institution, and they invited workforce and community partners as well. So all of them were there. All of us were there in the auditorium. They are intentional. They are focused on the workplace of the future. And so we can't expect students to go to a workplace and workforce that is using AI elements and we don't know anything about it. We're teaching them. So that's another reason that I decided, to jump in feet first to make sure that I'm able to do the things that I'm asking the students to do in a few years in the workforce. So, okay. All right. I see a smile. Good, good, good. Awesome. All right. So let's jump into it. So scrolling down, these are some responses from Google Gemini. Soon you will see this, hopefully. Okay, here's some responses from Google Gemini. What are 25 ways to reach 18 to 24-year-old college students to motivate them to re-enroll in college classes next semester? And so something that I will do right now is I am also going to put this in the chat so you can see this in a few moments. But Google came up with 25 ways with subpoints focused on how you can reach this key student demographic from a multifaceted standpoint. And some of these, I was like, that's really good. I had not thought about that. But it's a really neat way to serve as a foundation into our, exactly what we wanted, what we want students to do, and also what we want the AI tool to do. So this is what I use. And so I'm putting that in the chat. If you're logged in on Google, you can go to this exact search. And so if I click this, the link, it will link me to this search. So you should see something that looks kind of like this. And so, Sean, I see you. I mean, you're like, okay, I'm here for it. And so this is really neat because this is my entire search, and you can save your searches. So if you have a search that you want to look at every single year or every single month, you can save that to a Word document, save that to your playbook. But also, I would encourage people to send this to your team so they can or send your search to your team so they can modify it and make it and morph it to become their own as well. So with that, let's go into our prompt that we used a few moments ago. So that one was, I'm scrolling up. Oh, okay, there we are. Create a 5-day student success campaign for the month of December. So let's see what it will do. And let's take out the brackets because we don't want to confuse it. Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Okay, so we have Monday is Motivation Monday. They gave it themes, y'all. Motivation Monday. We have social media. We have the email campaign. We have what to put in it. Testimonial Tuesday, y'all. Social media, campus events. We have in-person and virtual events. Wellness Wednesday. If you're making informed academic decisions, you need to be look at it from a wellness-based perspective. Financial Aid Thursday. Campus events and social media. And Future Friday. Focus on how the degree or the certificate from your institution will change their future. Future Friday. I need to start using that. Future Friday. And so it's important because it breaks it down as to the messages we should send. Not only does it do that, it gives additional tips. So personalize your message, use student names. You can use strong visuals, and I'll show you how to do that as well. And also track your results. We talked about the analytics a few moments ago. If you don't have access to those fancy, expensive systems, use Excel. Use the shared Excel piece as well. And then also collaborate with other departments, work with academic advisors, and be persistent. So here's the other piece. And also Nicholas says, disappointed with Financial Aid Thursday. I know, no alliteration. But here's I like that. We're going to have to, you know what? Let's charge it. Let's charge it. So let's take day 4. Can you please add alliteration to Financial Aid Thursday? Oh, guys. Okay. I have a lot of automatic text. Similar to the approaches, I'll just say other days. All right, let's see. Focused Financial Friday. Oh, it said Friday. We'll have to work on it. But anyway, it's a neat way to come up with your campaign messages. But also, I want to make sure that we know that we can ask it. So we take Financial Aid Thursday. What are some potential messages? And it's always important to give it numbers. So what are 10 social media messages? Not that we will post all 10, but we want to make sure that we have variety. So what are 10 social media messages that can be shared with first-year students with hashtags? So don't let your finances derail your dreams, etc. Funding your future, money matters, invest in yourself, etc. And you'll have to make this your own, but it's a great way of having a starting point, especially if you are managing everything else that you have to do within the scope of a week, and you have to encourage your team to post messages, or you have to post messages yourself. Yes, Dr. Proctor, loving Gemini. Yes, I love it too. Um, so that is what we have for. Thank you so much. High Voltage Friday. I love it. I love it. I'm focused on the future, Future Friday, right? So let's also go to another piece that I want us to focus on. The and we'll come back to Gemini in just a second. But while I am making the transition, if you could please head to the chat and put in any questions that you have about making those messages for students or designing campaigns using Gemini. And I do not use Gemini Advanced, but I just use the original version, but it's a great way to develop messages. Also, I want to let you guys see something before we go to this last section. Oh, one more thing. So if we are asking it to come up with the elements based on the elements of the campaign for, we'll just say Focus Financial Friday. From the perspective of a college president. I ask it, I tell it please and thank you, because you just never know. And so what these technologies will morph into in the future. Let's see, a special message from the perspective of a college president for, we'll just say a special message for first-year students. And you see, I'm referring back to something that we talked about 2 or 3 prompts ago, but it saves it and it refers back to it as well. So, dear first-year students, as your college president, I personally want to invite you to Focus Financial Friday. They are saying that it's an event. So, you know, but you can morph this to the perspective that you need. Sincerely, college president's name and college. Can you please simplify the tone? I write a lot on my phone and I have Apple products, so I have a lot of saved messages. Please modify, write this from the perspective of a dean. The message is a little bit different, but ideally you could have a themed day, and you could have the dean send a message, the president send a message, the department head send a message, the faculty member send a message. And it's important to know that we don't have to think about many elements of this. We just have to tweak it a little bit. So that's another piece that I wanted to focus on. Now, some things that I wanted to emphasize as well is at the very bottom. And yes, I asked it 25 things. I like to give it numbers. It likes numbers. But even this image was created through Gemini. Well, here's a caveat. So Gemini does not let you create people. But if you use Docs, I discovered last night, and this is super new as of this week, but you can ask it to create an image for you and it will create people, realistic people. And so that's another piece that I want us to realize, that if we want images, this is an easy way to create images that look realistic. You need to teach the technology. You can click good response or bad response to enable learning. You can produce more results, and you can enable it to regenerate the response to make it shorter, longer, etc. You can share that response with result list with others, which I did with you all a few moments ago. You can gain additional ideas, and then also you can copy a response, and you can craft your response as you are speaking to a person. And I've been able to do that and get better results than just like a Google-based response. And then also you can curate your response by asking your student advisory board for their feedback for potential campaign messages. So if you are thinking about sending this from the perspective of the college president, I would ask maybe 2 to 3 students in your office to say, hey, we're really thinking about sending this out. If you could please look at this to see what would appeal more, what does not appeal to students, then they can help modify and craft that message as well. Some things that I also want you to know is on Gemini, and these are features that are not glaring, and I apologize for the background being a darker background today, because I know it might be easy to read for some, but not for others. But just some features that I want you to keep in mind. At the very top, it says show drafts. And so whenever Gemini crafts drafts, say that 5 times fast, it will craft 3 different drafts for you. So you just click show drafts, and it has 3 different drafts that you can choose from. Especially if you're wanting it to come up with like 10 social media messages, it actually came up with 30 without you knowing about it. And this is how you see the additional responses. So from the perspective of a dean, it crafted 3 dean's messages. So you're actually getting a 3-for-1 deal. Also, if you don't like any of those responses, or if you just want to know what other responses look like, you can always click to regenerate them, and it will regenerate those responses as well. If you go all the way down, you can either say that it's a good response, this is in our playbook that you just saw a few moments ago, and it will ask you why you chose this rating, and it will produce responses according to your upvotes or downvotes. Also, you can modify the response to have it be a shorter response, or it can be a longer response. So it's significantly longer with bullet points, so like a letter. And then more casual, simpler, or more professional. So say if they wanted to craft that for faculty members, they could do that as well. Then if you wanted to share it with your team, or like the prompt, just go to this, I guess it's like half of a triangle, and you go to share, and then it will put the response and prompt, the entire chat. All you have to do, you can create a public link and you can share that with your team, especially if you're doing a professional development session, or if you're wanting your team to come up with ideas focused on, any topic, then you can share this with them so they can have a starting point. Also, you can Google it, and it provides you with some related topics according to the topic that you researched or that you typed in, or your prompt. And also you can copy this entire chat and copy that over into your playbook. And I do that a lot, because just in case the laptop dies, or just in case your computer decides to restart with an update, and this has happened more than once, then you always have it. And that's what we have for Gemini. So I am going to look at the chat for a second. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, thanks for sharing. Gemini most typically use ChatGPT. Yes, and I like the fact that you don't have to necessarily log on with another login for Gemini, because you have to do that for ChatGPT each time you want to use it. Love this. Great. And perfect. Oh, okay. There's a question that came in. What if you're a part of an institution where all messages are approved by the public relations entity, comms department, or if you've invested in a CRM or customer relationship management system that is static? If you have a system that is set up like that, I would encourage you to think smarter before the beginning of a year. And you would come up with all of your, like looking at your calendar for September, October, November, December, etc. Come up with the messages that you want those individuals to send out. And because of that, you would have all of that in your playbook. You would have your social media messages with hashtags, with potential images that only took you 30 minutes to come up with or less. You would have all of that together, and you would send that to them with a memo to say, and also follow it up with a meeting to say, we would like for you to post this information. And 1 or 2 things are going to happen. They're going to post it, no problem. Thank you for producing content for us. We're excited because we don't have to do this ourselves. Or number 2, they're going to provide you with an opportunity to come up with your own social media profiles and access to send the information yourself to students. And that's another thing to keep in mind. Whatever the system looks like at your institution, please think about how you can get your message across and achieve the purpose of the goals of your campaign without a lot of barriers in place. And also think smarter, not harder. Think about those faculty members who are in their classroom. You could create these messages to send to those faculty members, and those faculty members could send to their students. It's a two-pronged approach, but it's an easy way for faculty members to copy and paste the information that you want them to do, like register. Don't forget to schedule an advising appointment. Don't forget to pre-register. Don't forget to look at the schedule that's just been posted through their class that they're already checking anyway. So there's some ways to work around the existing systems. And as a communicator, it's always important to have a multifaceted approach. So if you're doing email systems sometimes go down, have an alternative like with the text messages or with signage on campus, but have a multifaceted approach, because things are always going to come up as barriers that will keep your message from coming across and from the students actually achieving their academic goals at your institution. Good question, though. Good question. What other questions do we have? It was a lot of information, and don't forget, you will get this information from us later. Okay, give me some emojis in the chat to let me know you're still here. I hope this was not overwhelming, and I hope you actually perfect. I hope you're actually thinking about ways that you can implement this. And speaking of which, type something, type 1 or 2 things that you plan to do as a result of today's presentation. So 1 or 2 things that you plan to do or plan to implement. I mean, and honestly, you have well, I'm on Central Time. So you have, it's 10 o'clock. So honestly, we have about 6 more hours today. So what is something you can do today to get this started? It's fresh. It's important to and I'm Southern. It's important to strike while the iron is hot. And I know that's old, but it's important for me because it's something that keeps me going, especially on a Friday. All right. Oh, they're rolling in. Okay. So we have ask the AI bot to give me a list of 25 ideas. Yes, Sean. And the neat thing is, it can give you those 25 ideas and just ask it to look at those different drafts, and it will draft 25 more ideas for you. So you can have a menu of different things to choose from. Okay, Ms. Hampton, to begin using Gemini. Yes, it's so easy, y'all. It's so easy. Emily says, explore AI opportunities. Yes, it can make our job so much easier. Explore Gemini. Yes. Dr. Proctor says, I'm thinking about using it to get students involved in my research project. I love it. Also, I spoke with a faculty member this week, and they actually said that they're teaching a business class. It's their capstone class. And they actually said that they use Gemini to generate responses, like basically copy and paste responses for student essays and for student assignments. And they said that the students have been more focused this semester on making those edits and making the papers more professional than they ever have been. So I just think that that's very interesting that that's a phenomenon that's happening in our classrooms now. Perfect. Start a communication playbook for spring 2025. Yes. And actually, Tamika, I would say start a communication playbook for spring. I would have a fall playbook and a spring playbook. So you will know next time spring 2026 rolls around, you just go to your spring playbook, because that's, the messages are going to be a little bit different. You'll have like spring break and some other things that are happening, but start a spring playbook so you don't have to ever think about those messages again, except for little tweaks here and there. Have registration events and campaigns serving food. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Timely, efficient, and impactful. Incredible, Dr. Edwards. Thank you. This has been so much fun. Dr. Cunningham, shout out. Yes, at Metropolitan Cohort. Toya, I know you brag on the Louisiana institutions. I have to brag on my Metropolitan institutions. Just putting that out there. Oh, awesome. Thank you. But I know that we have 2 more minutes. Any questions, you all? Any questions? This has been so much fun. And good goals, by the way.
I do have one question, and I read Dr. Gleaton was talking about High Voltage Friday. Thanks to you, absolutely. very, very good. Although I would have preferred alliteration as
That's
well.
okay.
But I'm just joking. Here's my to put a damper on this. When I clicked on this, I see that the workshop was recording.
Oh,
However,
no,
it
thank
was not
you. I
recording
appreciate
on
it.
my email. It was recorded through Read AI. So whoever is using Read AI, can I please, please, please ask you to forward me the recording so I can actually post it, because I know that a lot more folks would be very interested in reviewing or sharing this presentation with their colleagues. So again, this should not be a secret. Don't keep it to yourself. Share with your colleagues on your campus, but please, in order to do so, whoever's using Read AI, please, if you can, just forward me the links and things like that. I would love to post it and make it available to everybody else.
I appreciate the opportunity today, y'all. This has been a very, very exciting session, because anything that gets students to change their everyday behaviors and to change the trajectory of their families, and through our campaigns, they can do that as they persist through college. This is life-changing. So know that every message that you send is potentially another push in the right direction for our students and their families. So thank you all for everything that you do at your institutions. And if you have any other questions, please reach out, and hopefully the AI bot will, the person who's recording will share that information. But if not, Nicholas, I'm happy to re-record. And so we can do that too.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Edward. I mean, excellent. One thing I have to say, I love AI. It takes some time. The main thing that you need to do is the prompting. So I think be specific, and after it gives you something, go back to it exactly as you were demonstrating, because I think that the first draft is the first draft. It doesn't know what you want. So keep asking, keep refining and things like that, and you're gonna get a lot more. And obviously, like, revise, and edit whatever comes up, and publicize. But yes, thank you so much for all of this. Looking forward to. So again, please Read AI. If you can send me the recording, and Dr. Edwards, if you can share me. You said it was a Word document, so we can share this as well, so everybody else can use it as a playbook, basically, and again as a template for you to do your work on campus. So again, thank you all so much. We'll see each other very soon in person.
And Nicholas, I'm also going to put that in the chat right now, so everyone has access to it.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. So looking forward to seeing all of you in Indianapolis during the annual convening. And as I said, look forward to a couple of other invitations for workshops. Again, these workshops are for everybody. So please, share this with your colleagues on campus if you think that, the topics are relevant to their work. We want to make sure that this information is disseminated as widely as possible. So with this, thank you all for your time, everybody. Have a great rest of the week, or weekend, the 6 more hours, as Dr. Edwards say, and we'll see all of you soon. Thank you again, Dr. Edwards. Awesome.
Nicholas, do you know how we can save the chat? Oh, hold on 1 second. I just realized that.
Oh, yes, I can save the chat.
And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you. I mean, wow. Let's see if I can.
And I put the link in the chat so that I know Read AI has access to whatever we put in the chat. And so if you could just send it out to everyone, that would be great. So everyone except for Read AI, that would be awesome. because I never know where any of that wonderfulness ends up.
Yeah, I know. So here's the problem. I say save chat, but I don't know where it is saved. Is it in Zoom? Okay, at worst, okay. What I'll do is I'll see if I can just copy and paste the whole thing then. Not ideal, but
Like we had 77 messages today. Oh my goodness.
excellent. All right, so I do have it. So I can.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was awesome.
And how did you save it on your end? Did you just click the?
Well, the top, like for me, like there's a three dots at the top.
Oh,
But when I say save chat, I don't know where it goes. Where is it saved? I have no idea. So that's why I literally copied and pasted it into a Word document.
you know what? I see it. I just saw it.
Okay. So, but do you know where it's saved?
It's saved to a text document.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Thank you. I did not see those 3 dots. Well, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, you too.
And I will see you. Oh goodness, that's November's next month. Oh, November's next week. So
I know it's in like 3 weeks or something like that for all of this. So yes.
and do we have to? So I have like plane tickets booked and all the wonderfulness booked, but we do not have to book hotel rooms, right?
Can you tell me when you were getting in?
You know what? I'll send you a text. I mean, not a text, but an email.
Well, let me just look real quick. So if you told me ahead of time, let's see.
Let's see.
No, I don't think I have. But I mean that's not a problem. But yeah, if you can send me did you register?
I did. Or I think I did. Received a confirmation
Okay,
from
perfect.
CCA.
Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, that's real bad. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong list. So do you know off the top of your head when you'll be coming in and when you're leaving?
You know what? I'm looking on Saturday. So I'm leaving on Saturday from Texas or from Louisiana. And I'm leaving from there on Wednesday.
But it starts Monday morning.
Okay, so from Sunday, I'm coming in Sunday and I'm leaving on Wednesday.
Okay. Good. So I'll send the invitation to the hotel. So I'm not sure when they are sending the confirmations. Hopefully next week or so you'll have the confirmation. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, have a good weekend, and you're doing the hard work, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you for
You
this.
too.
Bye.
Bye. You're welcome. It's great.